Buddy. We were late. I know. And I'm sorry. Shade's fault. 100% Shade's fault. He got stuck behind an old lady that he couldn't pass.
She was driving really slow.
Anyway, we're here.
Or she's got the moves.
This is the Medic episode 34?
34.
That's right? Yeah, 34.
34.
Right, cool. Joining me, co-host Ruwin, who's got a surprise apparently coming out tonight. I don't know if I should tease it or not. I didn't ask you, but I'm going to. Already out there. Teased into the internet. You're you got something in store. Do you want to talk about it first or no?
I'll just talk about it for a second. It's not even about that. But I have a video that I've been working on for a while. That's why I haven't been streaming, which I will get back to shortly. The video I anticipate to be out tonight. I'll release it to my YouTube. So check it out when it comes out. But yeah, we have a great fully charged in store for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about the balance again of perhaps the the escape plan. We're going to talk about the quick fix. We're going to talk about medic business, about dropping Ubers, milking Ubers, and who better to talk about that than Farmer Shade?
That's right. We brought Shade on just for his milking expertise. All right, so let's go down the line here and introduce our guests. We'll start with Mr. Late, who's got... Why don't you show off what's behind you for all the kids at home who aspire...
Just to show off,
yeah.
Just let everyone see, that's the check from I-46. And that is the, Season 13 trophy from ESTA. I just usually leave those on my bed when I go to sleep, so it's just
and he sleeps on the floor.
This is more the shrine area, so it's where the next trophy and the next check will go, probably on the left and further back, so something like that.
All right, so Shade's the medic for HRG. Most of you, I'm sure, know that. The medic for the Madman, guy who has as important of a game as will be played this season tonight versus Mix Up, win and stay alive, I guess, not win and in. Got to win 2 this week. But, start with Mix Up today. It's Nosferatu. What's up?
Hey, not much.
The camera is really close to your face, which is kind of awesome. I told him, because he was like, we had him in here for like 30 minutes of the call, and he was a very stoic guy. So I told him at some point he has to do a silly face. So look out for the silly face.
All right.
There's going to be one, I'm sure. And then make sure you screen cap it. Everyone.
That's right. Make a GIF. And then AG's medic, who is going to be anxiously watching tonight's match to see if his team is in or not for AG. It is Indust, my fellow Minnesotan. What's up? Indust, you there?
Just choking up. A little too exciting. Too much fun for one night.
We didn't even check if everybody was there.
I just found out my mic was like
unplugged. We didn't do a mic check before we start. Okay, let's try that again. My fellow Minnesotan, Indust. Hello.
Hello.
Hey. It's a good start. All right, guys, so we're going to hop right in. For all of you guys who maybe aren't playing TF2 every day, there was a huge update released. I guess we can start there because we didn't talk about it last week. It was a week ago or so. A lot of balance changes. The ones that stand out the most, I guess, would be the quick fix, which we're going to see a lot more in Viaduct. We'll talk about that. And the escape plan was nerfed. The equalizer, whatever you want to call it. So we have medics on, so why don't we hop right into the medic question of the update, which is the quick fix. When it was released, Ruwin and I kind of tossed around the idea that it's more viable, but we didn't really think it would be. And then Viaduct rolled around, and it seems like pretty much every invite team is using it a lot. So why don't we start with, I don't know if either one of you, I think I saw you guys using it a little bit. I watched Blank's stream from the Madman Nosferatu, so do you guys plan on using the quick fix, or is it viable now? What do you think about it?
Well, I think it's good if you can use it effectively, but we're not really great with it, so I don't know if we're really going to use it. But, I mean, Mix-Up was using it, and they were doing really well with it against tryhards, I think. So I think some teams will be, like, really good with it, but I don't know if we'll be using it.
Okay, well.
Yeah, Mix-Up's been using it all week.
Have you guys played against Mix-Up using it, AG?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it like playing against it?
It's definitely different. It kind of catches you off guard sometimes because you're not really expecting a lot of aggression sometimes. But, that's definitely what you do with the quick fix. You just aggress all the time. You try and pick fights here and there.
Shade, you said that you played a little bit, but you didn't like it. So what is your opinion on it so far?
We haven't really used it much, just because, honestly, in my opinion, the regular Uber gun is still way superior to it. If you know how to focus targets down, the quick fix medic dies pretty quick no matter what, and for us, I just end up, playing back, waiting for their quick fix to go off, and just dodging and not having to pop Uber practically half the time whenever we played against the quick fix. We played a couple scrims like against full-time quick fix. I don't think as soon as we adjusted to it, it was pretty much fine.
What is the adjustment then, I guess? How does it change gameplay? I mean, okay, actually, well, what I wrote in our snazzy little notes here is it Viaduct only? I guess we can start there and talk about how you play against it or with it. Is it something we'll see on King of the Hill maps, or do you see it being used in CP?
I think the update rolled around at the perfect time because of Viaduct. I think you saw it used a lot more than it will be. I don't think it'll be used as much in a 5 CP,
right?
In my opinion. I mean, me personally, I will hardly use it regardless. I just really don't think it's that great. And in terms of adjustments, it just means playing back and kiting basically every one of their pushes, because you know that their medic's going to fly in with whoever soldier or demo. You just play back far enough where they can't catch you, then you pop Uber on them, and they're just all going to scramble. So you're just it's the similar way of like leapfrogging Ubers. I think it's very similar to that. You can get more kills with the Uber when they're on quick fix once you pop that after, in my opinion.
All right.
Well, what if they jump in, they get you to pop, and then they jump out like freaking Batman escape style? Right. They're like, all right, see ya, and then they leave, and now you're trying to catch up to them. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I just think that the biggest flaw with the quick fix is the beginning of the round and rollouts.
Right.
We hadn't really seen it on a map like, say, Granary, where the demo has to get to mid quick, even though demos kind of suck on Granary mid for some reason. It's not a great map for them. Well, great mid. But other maps where you may want to heal a soldier here and the demo here, and they're like pulling you over and away from your team. And that's the one thing that I wish wasn't. I wish you could like turn it on or off, or like choose, because that would make it awesome, in my opinion.
Well, okay, what if I've used it with the tethering effect before, and I know that the effect is pretty, it's like this 100% of the jump if you jump with it. But if you like don't jump with it and say the soldier rocket jumps away, does it still pull you like really far, like uncontrollably far? I'm trying to remember if that's the case. It's been a while since I've used it.
It's not nearly as far. If you want to get the max distance, you have to jump at like the same time, like you said, but you still get thrown around a bit. And against a team that's really ironed out the entire rollout and how fast they get to mid and capitalize on how slow you're going to get to mid with the quick fix. And that doesn't count for Viaduct, because Viaduct, you could just, everyone gets to mid at like the same time. So it doesn't really matter. And that's probably why we're seeing it more on Viaduct.
Yeah. Okay. So is it then viable to run full time on Viaduct? Do we think?
I think so. I would say so.
Really?
I've seen, we played a couple teams that have ran it full time against us. And I think we've lost at least one of those scrims. So,
really?
And then I think that was the first scrim. And then afterwards, once we sort of adjusted, played a little bit further back, waited for the quick fix to get popped, and then pushed back into them with Uber. I think it was the scrims that we started winning like a lot more easily.
Okay, I want to know then. I'm not sure between Indust and Nosferatu, which one of you has more experience using it this last week or whatever. So I'm just going to ask both of you, and whoever wants to answer can. But how does it change the way you play with it? Like, I imagine that a lot more communication, like micromanaging, needs to take place between whoever you're going to jump with during the quick fix. How has that been like? Is it something like a better communication between Pocket Medic leads to much more successful quick fix, or is it kind of, I don't know?
Yeah, I think it definitely kind of raises the skill ceiling a little bit. You just got to be really aggressive with it. I don't know, it's just a lot of fun.
Is it? It looks more fun.
Yeah.
I like moving as fast as a scout, so there's that, too.
That's true. You heal, whatever you heal, you go as fast. I didn't even know that. Boy, it's almost like I don't play this game. No.
Well, you do jump maps.
I do.
Right?
I'm really pretty mediocre at them. Okay, so let's relate it then to the crits creep. So on Viaduct, I don't know. Is it? I feel like the crits is almost like a hard counter then to the quick fix because of the burst damage. You just you heal really fast, but it doesn't matter because I just hit you for 200, so you're just fucking dead. How does crits play into the new changes? Is it still as powerful? Will you see teams in a CP like map, say when you die, you want to switch it up, will quick fix become an option instead of switching it up immediately to crits? Shade, you go crits all the time. You ever gonna go quick fix instead?
Probably not. I'd probably still go crits.
Okay. Other boys, what do you guys think? Quick fix related to crits?
Well, I don't know if it's really great for 5 CP, but at least on Viaduct, I don't know if it's really a hard counter to quick fix, the Kritzkrieg.
Well, yeah, I mean...
I feel like it's really easy to just jump away from the crits and then jump back in or whatever. But if you're not coordinated or you're not with the soldier when they pop their crits, then yeah.
Yeah, same goes with any kind of charge. If you're on the quick fix, you just completely avoid it.
So that's one really cool thing about it, actually. If a scout's on your medic, jump him out. Well, hopefully he jumps with you, but jump him out. If there's crits or Uber coming, jump him out. So I think there's a lot of interesting play down the road for the quick fix. Yeah. And I think it's safe to say at this point, cbear and the rest of the guests, that the update was good for the game.
Okay.
You know, like I would say it.
Oh yeah.
I agree too. I think we'll see it used more next season once teams have time to play with it during the off season, and maybe develop like strats with it. I think it'll be used a lot more throughout all the levels of play next season.
I can see it like on a map like Granary. You get wiped at mid, the other team has their medic up. You build quick fix quickly, and you kind of use it to kite their Uber around. Like you can jump up to the top of the pipe or something. I could see teams doing that. I mean, I think the skill ceiling might be raised even higher with that weapon too, because it's like you can do like a really good quick fix Uber if the medic just flies around and you waste the other Uber trying to chase him around and stuff. So I don't know, that'd be cool. So the other big change, I guess, as it relates to competitive, is the escape plan being nerfed. You guys are all medics, obviously. I've heard a lot of complaining that this has broken our game, that soldier is now the worst class in the game. Obviously, a little bit of an overreaction. What are you guys' thoughts overall on the escape plan nerf? For you guys who don't know, now when you pull up the escape plan, you have the mini crit effect marked for mini crits or whatever the shit's called.
For 2 seconds.
And after you put it away for like a couple seconds or whatever. So it's a big nerf, and it makes you, you can't just run around and go a million and hit people with it without getting mini crit and probably killed. So what do you guys think about it? Let's start with Indust. Thoughts on it?
It sucks, but what do I care? I'm never gonna play soldier.
There you go. Well, what about the soldiers on your team? Between Boink and Rando?
Yeah, what are they saying?
What are they just like, this is the worst? Like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's that bad? Really? They're like,
well,
I hate this
always
class.
overreacts, but
well, it's Rando.
I do agree with him.
Lansky complains about it every single night too, but he's complained since the first time I've ever played with him. So I mean, it's nothing new really.
What can't they do now, soldiers, that they could do before with it?
Run away as well.
Right, but
let's break it down for real. Like really break it down.
Real talk time. Okay.
Yeah, real talk. So you're a scout or a demo, and you're fighting a soldier, and he's hurt. You hurt him for 150 or 170, let's say, and then he takes out his escape plan and he starts juking left and right. He's like, huh? You gonna hit me? You gonna hit me? It's like, come on, dude. Like, really? That's what you miss? Is that?
Okay, but okay,
it's a joke.
In that situation, how much life does the soldier have? Right, like 30 tops, 40. So you're going to get hit and die either way, right? So can't you still do that? It's still on the person shooting you to shoot you. It's just you will die.
It is on them. It's just like now it's less broken, where they can just like kind of dodge like crazily and like juke left and right, and it's like then hit you in the face. It's just much more likely that they're going to die if they take it out. It's still good. I mean, it's like, I wish I had something like that sort of for the Scout rather than the Boston Basher. We've never had a good melee.
Yeah, that's true. So, Freakin' underscore, who's a subscriber to this fine Twitch channel, says no fall off is huge. I forget that if you have the mini crit effect, there's no damage fall off, so you can get hit by a rocket from 9 miles away and still get absolutely killed. But again, I would still say that if you're running around like with your equalizer out, I think I feel like it's much, like maybe once or twice per scrim match where you die now where you wouldn't, and I don't think that's that big of a deal. But I want to get Nosferatu and Shade's opinion on it. Just overall, yay or nay on the new escape plan. Do you like it, Nosferatu? Do you hate it? Do you not care?
I don't think it really affects a whole lot.
Okay.
I've played a few pugs as soldier since the update, and then to me, the only time where it's affected me is because I usually will like spam between escape plan and rocket launcher if I'm roaming sometimes, and that's happened where I've just been spamming it and accidentally take mini crit damage just because I was switching back and forth and got hit by something right after. But it doesn't seem game breaking or anything like that to me. Like it hasn't been a big deal on pugs. Obviously, it's different in scrims and matches, but
how mad is Tag and Lansky about it?
I haven't heard Tag complain about it. But Lansky, about every 3 to 4 minutes, probably has a comment about how the escape plan is broken now and how his class is useless now, and there's nothing he can do ever.
Okay.
I feel like that he should just run the market gardener.
Yes,
Man, I want to see more market gardening.
Dude, we're gonna see it on. I'm telling you, Viaduct. We will see it. We're casting tonight. Mix Up versus the Madman. I think we will see the market gardener kill a medic with Uber tonight. That's my call.
What? I don't think so. Well, unless you know something I don't.
I think it's going to happen. Okay, so why, if you're roaming on Viaduct, why wouldn't you use the market gardener? It's like, you're just going all in. You're not going to escape somewhere. You're going to get shot by a pistol. You're dead. So why not run either the pain train or the market gardener? And I would contend to say that, won't you see more pain train switches when a team is pushing last, or the roamer is going to try a back cap, or granary, you'll see it a lot more. And market gardener for roamers, like, you land with 50 health, you have 1 rocket left, what the hell are you going to do? Just jump and flail around? You have like a 10% chance of jumping, curbing around, and hitting somebody with a market gardener, and just that's like the coolest thing you could do in TF2. You just ask Star. I don't know.
It looks really cool. It looks cool. It feels cool.
It's
and
awesome.
Man, is it embarrassing? Well, not just embarrassing, but it's just like, what? If you're the medic on the receiving end of that market garden, and you're like, what just happened? I thought I had Uber, and then now I'm watching my respawn screen. So, I want to see it. If I played soldier, I'd use it.
Okay, that was I wrote that in our little notes. Team of medics, what do you guys think? Do you think soldiers will start to change out their loadouts more, not just only equalizer all the time because it's so good? Or will you see maybe market gardener situationally at a mid play? It's like, fuck, I have no rockets, like I'm just gonna jump and try to hit somebody with this, or is still way better than all the other soldier melees? Someone said.
I think the escape plan is still the best, and I think you'll see that mostly run in invite. There is wiggle room for roamers to switch up and use market gardener.
Yeah,
I didn't
unless you're
really think about that. Yeah, Mangachu's the only one who will run that full time.
He was getting kills with it though. Nosferatu, I watched Blank's stream, and he must have gotten 6 or 7 of them in that scrim. So, I mean, it's got to be frustrating to play against. But isn't it? You think it's viable, or no? Am I just dumb?
Maybe. I mean, Zebran was running against us like the day before, and like I don't even know how many times I died against that. It was awful.
This is what Gabe Newell wanted all along.
Yeah.
Nobody know what's happening ever. Everybody just dead all the time.
Right.
I don't even think the equalizer affects rollouts, does it? With the new nerf.
Right. It shouldn't. I mean, unless you're really cutting it
doesn't.
close, and then.
Yeah.
It hasn't affected anyone's rollout so far, I don't think.
I mean, I think you'll see that run at most, if not all mids, because of the rollout thing. I kind of forgot about that. But in situations, I think that nerfing it has kind of done what would want it to do it from a balance standpoint, and that is make all of the soldier melee weapons sort of, kind of balanced. It's not like, oh, you idiot, you're not running the equalizer. Like, you're just so stupid. Why wouldn't you use it? It's so much better than the rest of them.
And that's exactly what Valve is going for. They want to make it a choice, not just, oh, duh, you only use this because that's the only good thing in the game. And that's just bad design. And anyone who doesn't see that is just, they need to wake up, smell the coffee, smell the market garden.
Yes. Oh, man. I'm telling you, it's going to happen tonight, and it's going to be awesome. And I don't know. It's going to be on Smacka, too. That's my call. And Smacka's just going to leave the game. Unplug all this shit and just leave. Okay, so last thing that I have on the update is how the meta game changes overall. Has there been any shifts at all from it? I know it's still early on. Anything that you guys have noticed in your scrims? I know Viaduct's a completely different beast. Whatever. Has it changed the way that you've seen this last week and a half you played in TF2, or is it just still kind of feeling out process or not a big deal?
I'll go ahead and okay. In terms of I mean, I haven't seen much of a change. Like I said, I don't really care for it, so I don't run it much. The quick fix. I haven't seen much of a shift in gameplay. I was gonna say I feel like I'm milking more than I did before.
Oh, we're getting to that though.
We'll get there.
Just because I can like because usually when they pop quick fix, it's gonna be one soldier coming in with the medic, and when they do that, they're sending in those two people by themselves to try and force. So I can just dance around. If they're going way deep onto our side, it's gonna be hard for them to force me if it's just that one person coming in. So.
You're not popping Uber for anything.
Yeah, generally speaking, I'm just not gonna pop it. So.
they're gonna have to kill you. Other Nosferatu, Indust. Do you guys have anything you want to say as far as meta shift? Is anything?
Yeah, I think there's lots of interesting possibilities with the quick fix. Really excited for that to figure them out.
Cool. Nos? No?
Yeah. I don't think it's that different so far, anyway.
Okay. I forgot about the winger. Ruwin, you're the scout main here, buddy. Is it worth talking about? Is it that big of a change?
I would say use it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that it's at a point balance-wise where it's one or the other. You can choose, and they're both fairly even. Like a 25% jump height increase is it's really situational, but that's why they put different items in the game. If there's a map where you can use the winger, then use the winger. And if there
is there a jump that you can name right now that you can do now with winger that you couldn't before?
There.
Like a something to something jump.
There was a video about that.
There we go. Okay.
Collection.
Nice. Well, I think there was a video of a bunch of jumps that you can do now with the winger that you couldn't do before. And I think that it is good, and I'd say use it most of the time because you know what, the pistol kind of sucks.
And the winger's like playing the lottery, man. Because if you hit 3 of those, you've just done 80 damage. Congratulations, enjoy
yeah,
your kill.
it does do a bit more damage, but then you drop down to 5.
Is it really 5?
12. Yeah, it's 5. I mean,
yeah,
it's balance. It's whatever is good in that situation. If you're going to be chasing a lot, or maybe just fragging a lot, then you don't have time to like sit there and reload a bunch of winger clips, and maybe you just need that one pistol clip at close range. But it's just so situational. I'd say mostly run the winger, mostly.
Really? So has it become an upgrade then? Is it better than the pistol?
No, it's not. But it's a choice now. I think it's a valid choice now.
I think the pistol's pretty good. Testify. Come on! It's shit. If you're good, then it's good. If you're bad like me, then you're just like, please hit. Okay, so that's probably about all the update we'll talk about for now. If we miss anything, we might go back to it later. Let's go to this season of Invite, since we are on our last week. We know teams 1 through 3. Shade is, it's been, what, like a year since you've lost a TF2 match?
I don't even remember, to be honest.
It's like you guys are going to lose something, and it's going to be...
I'm going to quit the team. I'm going to quit the team when we lose.
You're going to pack up your trophy and big check.
If we lose first round of LAN, I'm just going to drive back to San Antonio and go home.
And you're going to be playing either the Madmen or AG. So let's set that up. We have medics for both of them in here. For you guys who don't know, tonight, or if you're watching this on the VOD, Wednesday, this always goes up Wednesday, Madmen are going to be playing Classic Mix-Up. Madmen have to win that game to remain in it. Then AG and Madmen will play tomorrow. And if the Madmen manage to win the game tonight against Mix-Up, the game versus AG will be like the all-deciding match. So I don't know where to start to get into this conversation, but let's start with Nosferatu. It's a tough call to try to beat 2 of the top 5 teams, especially Mix-Up's been playing better. How are you guys feeling going into the game tonight?
I don't know. I mean, our scrims on Viaduct have gone kind of up and down. I think we've had a lot of good play and some not so good play. Um, I don't know. I feel like could really just go either way. I hope we win.
Now, you guys played HRG in a game that I think we casted on my channel, or was it the game we cast on your channel, Ruin? I don't remember. I think it was the one.
I think it was yours.
Yeah, because we thought it was gonna be, like, they'll get around maybe two. But
I think it was yours. It was your channel. We were like, hey, let's cast this because it's the only match tonight. We want something to do. And then Memphis is like, this is gonna suck. Don't watch this. And it was like one of the best games of the season. And I say one because there were like 3 great games: Mix Up versus Tryhards, and then AG versus Solace, which was like, what? But
yeah, that was
man,
good too.
goalie wash.
Okay, so let's talk about. Well, the reason I brought that up is because Memphis told me, like, when he made this thing. Oh no, this is the one that Whisker Biscuit made, the background screen. He made another one. And we talked for just a second. He's like, "Yeah, don't cast this tonight. We're gonna get 4-0'd really fast." So, like, what? Is it one of those things where it's like you think you're going to do bad, the pressure's off, and then you just go out there and play better? Because the HRG result, Nos, was pretty crazy. Did you guys expect the game to be that close, or were you guys kind of like, wow, we're up 3-1 here.
Yeah.
We could probably win this game. Like, what the
hell? It could be like that. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say, really. Like, our scrims have been really up and down, so...
How were your Gully Wash scrims before the HRG game?
About the same, I guess, really. So, maybe we'll have a repeat sort of deal.
All right. Let's ask Indust, since he'll be watching tonight. Well, I don't know, maybe he won't watch, but...
He'll watch.
You'll probably
He'll
be
be
watching. I don't know,
yeah.
maybe you'll be scrimming. Who knows? You guys are obviously rooting for Mix Up, so you're just in. What do you think how do you see that game playing out? I think you said you played Mix Up on Viaduct. How do they look? How do you think that Madmen will fare against them?
I think they've been doing pretty well. They use the quick fix a lot, and I know Mad Men was having a little issue with that. I don't know, but it's going to be a good match. I'll call it 4-3.
For who?
I can't say.
Oh, it's a secret.
Okay, well,
He already knows. He just can't say. He made a promise.
And in the future, you know.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's a good game. That's exciting. Yes, keep it going. It's 3. There'll be 4 straight. Good games. Shade, I don't know if you've played either team, both teams. How do you see that game playing out?
I mean, to me, it doesn't really matter. But if I had to choose between Madmen, that's tough. Madmen or AG in terms of first round, who would I want to play?
Well, I was going to ask that next. Madmen versus Mix Up the game tonight. What do you think?
I'm going to jump into that one right now. So,
Go ahead.
That's a tough decision. I think I'd rather play Madmen.
Okay, so you think that'll be the easier game? They would be? Or more fun, I guess? I don't know.
I don't know, because at times, like, I think of different factors, and I'm like, actually, maybe AG would be easier, but that's actually tough. I'm not sure. I don't think I can say right now. Let's just say I would play either one.
I mean, the game against Mad Men 4-3, they were ahead. I mean,
it was close, but once we sort of figured out why we were being so dumb at halftime, I don't think we lost the mid after that. Did we?
I think you did.
Might have lost the one where I was on crits the entire round. Probably that one. Basically at halftime, I told my team, I'm gonna run crits, and we're gonna do what they're doing, and we're gonna have the crits before they have Uber, and then we're just gonna run crits as much as possible. That was literally what the plan was for the next half. I told them I was gonna run crits a lot because they're just stalling at mid. So that's what we did, and it more or less, I think it worked.
Well, I mean,
for the most part.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess I wanted just to ask, were you guys shocked at how close that game was? I mean, you guys, I don't know how many games have been close in your spree of like 30 straight wins or whatever, but it seems like that was the closest game, I think, even at LAN.
Yeah, I think once they got up 2-1, we started noticing we were just getting destroyed at mids, and we weren't doing anything to them at mid on any of the mid fights. So that's what we talked about at halftime and what we needed to change. because what we were doing was not working. Absolutely wasn't working. But yeah, I personally was pretty shocked. I thought it was going to be a quick match to start off, but after the first, I think 3 rounds is when I started realizing that it was not looking very good.
Well, yeah, how real was the fear that you guys might lose?
I didn't think we were going to lose,
Okay.
but I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to. I just thought it was really annoying because I was like, we're down 3-1, and have to climb back from 3-1 is not. It's not fun.
No.
And if they had gotten the first round in the second half, then we would have lost. I think, easily.
Wow. So hopefully you guys play in the first round. Then I'm just kidding. All right, so let's kind of go to a more macro sense of the season since we are kind of looking back on it. Let's start with AG. I kind of want to ask you guys how you thought your seasons have gone, maybe Invite as a whole. So how do you think the season has played out? Have there been any surprises, any teams that have done better or worse than you thought? We'll start with Indust. What do you think about this season, and has anything stood out to you?
It's been a wild ride. I've kind of had a tough season, but our chemistry is pretty good. We're doing okay. I don't know. It's good.
Things played out. How would you rate your team's performance based on your expectations going into the season and your own performance based on what you thought you were capable of doing or whatever?
We're not the most consistent, but we're kind of on par with my expectations. I don't know.
Okay.
We could do a little better, but
ask and answer. All right, so I'm going to go around and ask everybody. Shade's answer should be pretty funny. Nosferatu, same question. How would you rate your team's performance up to this point compared to the expectations that you had going into the season? You guys played about what you thought, or better, worse?
Probably a little worse, I would say. Yeah. I mean, it's been kind of hard. We've changed like our roster 3-4 times now, and I don't know. I think we're doing okay, but I feel we could have been better, I guess.
Fair enough. All right, Shade, how about you?
I think we're doing
all right?
As we expected.
What about your personal performance? You've lived up to the Shade standards, medicing?
I've had, I think, like 2 games where I looked back and was like, oh, gosh, I could have. Well, I mean, obviously we still won, but there's a couple games I feel like I could have had at least 3 perfect games this season, and just looking back, it's very frustrating. There was one I honestly felt like I could have pulled a perfect game off on tryhards.
Really?
Because I had like 7 deaths, I think, and 4 of them were from beginning of the round spawn switches. One of them was from running in on the last point, and one of them was an Uber drop. So that's 1 death that I don't remember. It was like a scout death or something, but I really wanted to get 2 perfect games this season.
All right. So now we have you guys on here for a reason. We're going to talk about the medic play in general. Ruwin and I casted 3 games last week, and there might have been upwards of 10 dropped Ubers, if not more, between the games. So my first question is there something about Gully Wash that is hard to pop Uber on, or what? Can we explain all the drops?
I don't think it's the maps.
Just circumstance, just whatever.
Yeah, anyone can answer.
Go ahead.
You know, anyone. Free
help us understand.
Well, I think I had like 4 drops against HRG in one game, and then in our other game I had like 2, and I think those are the most I had in games, I think. And I feel like maybe part of it was like a psychological thing of like, oh man, we're playing HRG, I better like have really good Ubers and just not pop to their bombers and stuff like that. So I think part of it was just being like really greedy from the matchup, but yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you, I don't know if I should be giving out inside tips, Shade, but just from playing against them in the previous seasons, when you're playing against HRG, you never get the perfect Uber. You're never gonna get the Uber that you want. So you just have to put the Uber in your hands rather than in theirs, and do what you want with it. Don't let them dictate how you use your Uber. So, you know, when you're trying to milk it and you're trying to go, okay, well, I want to hold until I see 3 of them all clumped up, it'll never happen. You're just going to take so much damage. One person's going to die, and you're going to pop, and you're already falling back, and then you gotta take that Uber in your hands, do what you want with it. That's what I've learned. I mean, take it
Yeah.
or leave it. Land contending teams in this in the Skype call, but that's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that I noticed, I don't know. I mean, compared to other seasons, if there's been more drops, but I feel like in general we're
Uh-oh. I'm lagging.
milking a lot. I might be lagging. I don't know. You sound okay, but if I whatever. So are you guys actively milking this Uber more, doing what Ruin said, trying to find the perfect Uber? Has it changed since other seasons? Like, what's the deal with all the milking? I guess we'll ask Shade first because you milk all the time. So you just like, I sometimes I say it's like Shade's bored, so he's milking. I don't know if that's correct or not. But
I don't know. So for me, it's just like if I see one bombing soldier coming in, I'm generally speaking not ever gonna pop to that, just because unless he hits like one really clean rocket, gets off like a second splash damage rocket, and looks like he's gonna get off a third. I expect my team to kill a bombing soldier before he can get off 3 rockets on me. So I see him jump. Go ahead.
It's like, is your team like, if that's something that you guys talk about at all?
No,
like,
I think that's just something they know that, and that's how I play. That's how I'm gonna like handle that situation. And there's a lot of situations too where Lansky will complain that I'm dropping him, but there's lots of times where we're meeting their combo. They pop to kill Lansky, and I'm like a mile away. So, like, Lansky gets upset that he dies, but it's like, hey, the rest of our team's still up, and we still have Uber, and now they're going back through their choke because they can't do anything because their Uber's done. And then we just push right back with Lansky being up. So, there's just, and I mean, that's not the way I'm going to play it every time. Sometimes I will pop on Lansky sometimes, if I have to, absolutely.
Lansky, your positioning. We talked about this.
Like, for me, it's just, I feel like it's really easy. The only like variable is scouts for me. Scouts and snipers are the only thing that really scare me. Like snipers because they can just hit you from wherever, and scouts just because they can get, they can miss 4 shots, hit a chip shot, and then meat shot you to death, which is so. It's the way it is. Those are the only 2 things that I really get scared about though.
Indust, I want to ask something that I asked Shade that he said no. It's just we're just how we do it. If say you and Rando have one scout that's gotten through and it's on you, are you ever just like, I'm not gonna pop this Uber. If I die, I die. It's on you to protect me. Is that like something you guys talk about? Just like fuck, like I'm not popping to this scout. We need this Uber to push. Like just fucking kill him, or I'm like.
I used to be like that a lot more, but I've learned, and sometimes it's tough because you got to trust your team on things like that because they should be able to kill that, but sometimes
you just hit the meat and you're dead.
Yeah, I don't know.
It also depends on the player for me sometimes. If Clockwork comes in and gets a chip shot on me and he's right next to me, I'm probably going to pop 9 times out of 10 just because it's Clockwork and he will hit that meat shot. Certain scouts, if they're coming in, then I won't. I'm not as scared because I know they'll miss like 5 shots.
Okay, Nosferatu, same question, I guess. Have you found yourself milking more this season of Invite than you did in the past? Is there a lot more pressure on you to get like the perfect Uber when you're playing against the top teams?
I think I'd say so. I guess generally if I'm popping like a defensive Uber, it's just kind of like, well, do I need to pop it? Like, am I low enough HP? Is there like a soldier still in my face, not dead? Just those kinds of things. Like,
right.
I don't think there's anything really specifically that I look for, I guess, but
because I don't know. It's like when I'm casting a game and I see like a really bad Uber, like, oh man, they popped so early and they still haven't gotten through the choke that they need to go through to force the other team. I'm just like, oh, this Uber's so bad. Why didn't he hold it more? And then they drop and I make fun of him for dropping. It's kind of like you're doomed either way.
Well, I feel like the teams should just step out of their comfort zone of like always needing Ubers to play well. Because you don't. Your positioning is very important. And the post-Uber fight is usually more important than the Uber. So how your team positions yourself and how you guys play out the post-Uber is like just make or break for the team.
Right.
And if you guys haven't worked on that yet, people don't know what their roles are, like how they should be playing. If something jumps you, yes, you need to have faith in your team to kill them. And yes, they should in most situations, unless the soldier lands like 2 perfect rockets, which happens, but it's rare.
What
Yeah, I mean, it's
What would
Go
you
ahead.
say to, like, say, Ruin, you're streaming and you get asked by some of your viewers, like, I'm a medic, I'm in, like, I don't know, UGC 6s, and I find, like, I'm having a lot of trouble getting a good Uber with my pocket. Like, we're just always Ubering earlier, you know, I drop them or something. What advice would you say? Like, you're watching an invite game, you say, oh, be like these medics, you know, they're trusting their team not to kill the scout or whatever. Is it something like, I feel like you should just pop the Uber sometimes, you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, some people, they don't have a good understanding. They okay, I'm gonna drop this on the stream. I didn't want to drop this, but I'm gonna drop it. Okay, so there's a game, right? It's called Dance Dance Revolution. Some of you may have heard of it, okay? Just hear me out, just hear me out. So if you've never played the game, you look at it and you're like, wow, that's fast. And the people, like, their feet are moving fast and like hitting all the keys. I know because I can play it all on extreme. Don't worry about it, bro. Hang on. Right. Okay, that's like TF2. Those people who don't have as many hours or as much experience, they see what we see, but they don't interpret it the same way. I see where things are positioned and I know instantly what does that mean. I can read all of it at once. While if you don't have that much experience, you can only see a little bit, like you see a clump here, a clump there. So it's just like you're not getting the same amount of information as you would be if you were, say, Shade, who sees a scout over there. He's not a threat for 5 seconds. I'm good. Soldier over there, he can't hit me with, you know, 2 jumps. I'm fine. You know, it's just we read it differently.
That's actually true. I've seen like the really crazy people play DDR, and I see like all the notes that they have to hit. And I'm just like, there's like that's fucking nuts. I would never be able to do that. But all right, so pop your Uber. That's what I say.
Yeah, and to answer your question before the analogy that just blew your mind, it's in this game, in TF2, in a first-person shooter where you need like game sense, which game sense applies to any game, but more so in an FPS, team-based FPS. You can't just like teach someone game sense. They have to see it. They have to experience it and see every outcome of that experience like a million times, and then they just automatically know, how do I react in this situation? And that's the difference between me and someone who's in UGC Iron 6s, is I've seen the scenario 1,000 times. They've seen it a handful of times. You know, and there's not a whole lot separating me from some of the players in IM, DM-wise. So what else could it be? It's just game sense,
Right.
positioning,
Yep.
and you can't teach that, really. Where in other games you can say, hey, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. You can't, because it's so isolated to that specific moment and what's going on, what's over here, what is the health of your teammates. It's like, can't teach it.
Right. That's
Yeah, you just gotta keep playing the game,
it's pretty
play
much
a lot.
It's like in a MOBA game, it's like, oh, you see this, you do that. But in TF2, it's so fluid that things change. It's absolutely correct. Dumb question. All right. Blah 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 blah. All right. So let's talk some quick fire questions here, and then we'll wrap it up, and then do giveaways and all that shit. Shade, please stop typing. Okay. So invite loadouts.
Sorry, I was lagging just now.
Seems like we all do. We talked about quick fix, crits, whatever situational. We get that. I want to talk about needles versus crossbow. Which one do you guys use and why? Do you change it up? What's better? Shade, what do you do? You like the vamps, right?
It just is whatever I'm feeling like using. Sometimes I'll use Blutsauger, sometimes I'll just use Quick Fix. I've been using crossbow a lot. I use crossbow on Viaduct a lot, just because there's not like too many instances where I'm going to be needing the Quick Fix to run away. And I was actually hitting a lot of crossbows too during this Viaduct weekend scrims. But it's whatever I feel like running. Basically, it doesn't. I don't have like a preference really. I just like using all of the items.
You could only use one more the rest of your life. TF2.
Ooh.
Needles. You'd say needles, wouldn't you?
Vamps.
I'd say crossbow, to be honest.
Whoa!
Because you need it.
I did not
sometimes.
expect that.
If I had to pick crossbow, yeah, if I had to pick, I would choose crossbow.
All right. Same exact question for you, Nosferatu. Which one do you like? Which one of? As I'm saying, it's like it's one or the other, but there's different types of needles. What do you use? Crossbow needles. Which one do you like?
I use crossbow all the time just because it's fun and you can heal your teammates in like clutch situations and that sort of thing. That stuff is always cool.
Do you ever feel under-equipped when a scout rushes at you and your team's like, oh, hit him for 70, and you're like, shit. If I had needles, I could kill this guy, but I've got a crossbow.
Maybe, but I always just kind of like try to hit every crossbow on that guy, sort of thing.
Yeah. You'd be the crossbow kid, as chat adequately and smartly is posting. It's true.
Yeah, if the chat is wondering, we asked TBK,
He
he's
did.
working. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We can't have the crossbow kid. We tried.
Don't worry. Someday, though. You only have one for the rest of your life, I'm assuming crossbow, then, Mr. Nosferatu?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good choice. Like my favorite gun in the game. All right, Indust, same question for you. Needles, crossbow, what you got?
Generally, I say use what you're best at, and I'm best at needles, so I don't know. Overdose has its uses like mid-fights, especially on maps where you don't really rely on surfing out to get out, like Metalworks, for example, where you kind of have to walk the whole way. But I don't like the crossbow. It can be kind of distracting sometimes. It's not always. It doesn't have as much DPS.
It's
On Viaduct,
true.
I like needles because
It's true, but say on a map like Viaduct, where you don't have just corridors or like, on Granary, needles are good. They're good on Granary. But a map that's wide open, there's no corridors, scouts can move left, right, jump up, and like dodge your pattern of needles that you're putting down, like your suppressive needle spam. I think crossbow's better
Yep.
on Viaduct.
I think needles are better there because you're going to be using needles more back by the spawn, kind of. Or you're not really going to be using... Your team's going to be killing things for you on the point in the open space.
So
So,
you're like, you're running away and then...
yeah, more
Plus-
often you're going to be fighting when you're back.
There's one other
Oh.
thing I like doing. I don't get to play medic very often, but when I do, I like to put out a crossbow if someone's fighting across the map, and sometimes I hit the crossbow. Like, you can just be on mid healing something, and someone's up trying to get a pick, and you're just like, boom, fire a crossbow, 60 damage. It's like, that thing dies now.
We've
And
all,
it's just really quick.
but we've all played a pug or something, other than me, because I don't play this game, but where you're playing medic or someone's playing medic, and they're firing, like, way too many crossbows because they like it, because it's fun, and they don't have Uber when they should, or they're just build Uber instead of shooting needles, or shooting the crossbow. I feel like, I like that point that Indus made, where it's like, man, sometimes it gets you in trouble because you're just going to shoot it a couple crossbow bolts or like reload it in a situation where you just don't have to if you have
I've
needles.
been yelled at by Banny
Yeah?
and Paul.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll just be spamming arrows like from across the map when Paul's standing right next to me with 5 health, and he's like, heal me. I'll be like, no, I got you with an arrow. I'll turn an arrow.
And you like miss someone, he's like, ah!
I'll miss one because he took one step forward,
Right.
so then I'll sit there and reload a second one and shoot him with the second one.
It's so much more satisfying.
It is.
I actually, though, we did have one recently where what Ruwin was talking about, Sugar was fighting a scout that was overbuffed, I think. I saw it happening. I just fired like an arrow from mid all the way, like, I don't remember where exactly he was fighting him, but it ended up hitting the scout for like 70 damage, and then Sugar like hit him and killed him in like 2 shots right after that, or 1 shot right after that. So, I mean, some situations like that, that's where I think crossbow can,
It definitely has
show
its
how much better.
benefits.
Yeah.
High skill ceiling too. I mean, if you hit that arrow, Oh,
So I think
surprise
it's
you.
double the damage for heals. Like, I think it can go up to max ramp up is like almost 150. Almost.
Really?
It's like
Yeah.
140, I think.
Wow.
Something like that.
Yeah,
So.
that's pretty good. I always kind of thought we'd see more heavy with, arrows shooting at the heavy from a mile away, but I guess it's hard to coordinate that, or you just be tanking the heavy anyway. Maybe we'd see that more. Okay, so that's good. Let's go to maps. The classic map that is the bane of Medic's existence, obviously Gravel Pit. Seems like everyone hates Gravel Pit now. You guys hate Gravel Pit?
I love it. It's my
Yeah.
favorite. It's one of my favorites.
Okay,
I just
Shane,
don't like the format. It's a decent map, but
You don't
I
like
think
it?
80's dumb.
Is it awful as Medic?
Not really, but
I don't think it is.
You just have
I
to
think
not
it's
mess
one
up.
I think it's one of the easiest maps as Medic, to be honest.
You also are on a pretty good team.
That's true. I mean, that makes a difference also, but from my viewpoint, I think it's one of the easiest maps to play.
All right, so let's piggyback off that. We've already talked at length about G-Pit. Favorite map, least favorite map to play as Medic, Shade.
My least favorite map.
Yes.
I didn't really like. I don't know. Let the other let
All right,
someone else go.
Nosferatu.
I
What's
got to
your
think about the map.
favorite map to play as Medic? What do you think?
Favorite map, Badlands, obviously. Least favorite, probably Metalworks, just because sometimes your team kind of puts you in awkward situations because they don't know the positioning and stuff that well. Like, I don't know. It's just
Sounds
kind
like
of
you're talking
frustrating
about a very
sometimes.
specific match. The map.
Indus?
I like Granary because it's kind of predictable. It looks simple, you know where things are coming from. But I probably don't like Viaduct. I don't know. I like other Koth maps. I don't have an issue with Koth itself, but just the terrain.
I have a question for you, Indus. Just for you. How do you win every single invite pug melee fight? Are you a cheater? For all of you guys who don't know, invite pugs, to pick their teams, they do a medic versus medic Ubersoft fight, and Indus wins every one of them. And I want to know how. What's the secret?
Almost.
Because you're fighting Slyn, apparently. But
I can answer for him. Play medic all day, every day, for your
Yeah.
entire life. There is no other class, just medic.
Fine. I thought maybe there's a thing, like a technique, because I'm awful at melee, always have been. Always get meleeed from a mile away, never hit anybody. I don't know. Fine. Okay, so, Shade, do you have a quick answer?
Least favorite, I don't really like Granary. I don't like the mid fights on Granary just because.
Die all the time?
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like I do die all the time on that mid. Favorite map. I like Gravel Pit and Viaduct, actually. I like those two. But my favorite map is probably Process.
Yeah.
I like Process a lot.
Okay, well, that's probably all that we have. We're probably running out of time here. Remember, I'm still giving away an unusual hat, so don't leave quite yet. It is a steaming pyro fire helm thing that I should know the name of, but I don't know. I don't want to play this game. So let's do shout outs. Let's go the other way. We've started with Shade too much, so start with Indust. Shout outs for you. Thank you for going on the show. Go ahead.
Shout out to Death Force 9, Fan of Angels, Nico, Dopewolf, Steve C, and Inept Americans and Industry Trust. You know who you are.
Prepared, succinct shout out. I like that. That might be one of the best of all time. Shade's scratching his back right now.
I just had an itch in my back, so let's scratch it really quickly.
All right, Nosferatu. T-minus, what, 3 hours, 4 hours until you guys play? 3 hours, something like that?
I think, what is it?
It's
2.5 hours.
Oof, it's getting close.
Get right into a scrim after this, but shout outs for you?
My team.
Who's on your team? Who are the people on your team?
Blank, You Must Mike, Seymour, RR, Memphis Vaughn.
Snoopy. Okay, Shade. Shout outs for you. You want to just
think about it. Shout out to HRG. Shout out to my team. Shout out to all of the viewers. And I'm going to give a random shout out to the next person that types in chat while I'm looking at it right now. So shout out to 777 Crossfire. Show me the pizza. That's what he said.
Perfect.
Shout out to 777 Crossfire.
Oh, by the way, Truck has been streaming this like he does everything else, so Truck's awesome. Fill this whole thing up with hearts for Truck, and if you're really cool like me, you can do... No. That face, it's Kurt. If you're a subscriber, you can make a face. Hearts are Kurt faces. Thanks to him again, having to sit through this. Ruwin, anything else you want to say before I make a nerd very happy with a hat?
Oh, I'm excited for that, but I want to thank the viewers, TFTV, our guests, Shade, Indust, and Nos, and what is going on right now?
Just get that off.
Yeah, guys, sorry I haven't been streaming, but look for that video. It's just youtube.com/user/Ruwin stream. Check it out, but shout out to you, cbear.
Thanks, man.
Oh, by the way, good looking man.
Oh, one more. Tagarong for calling Shade and doing... Like, Tagarong is the most responsive player in Invite. He's, like, on the best team. I need something. I'm like, Tag, please, and he does it. in a moment. So thanks to
I
him.
would have been home in time.
No, you wouldn't. Okay, so that's it. We're going to cut the stream. We'll be right back. If you guys want to win a hat and you're watching the VOD, we do this every other Wednesday now at 8 Eastern. And after the show, I always give out stuff, which we will do right now. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in 2 seconds.